We're living in an incredible time, a time of massive amounts of information, a time of a lot of what appears to be toxicity because of the information that we're being fed in these algorithms. We're living in a time where people are seeking so much attention from these platforms and from social media that if they feel like they're not getting the attention, the suicide rates have gone up significantly. We're living in a time where children, before they're even a preteen, are becoming depressed because of too much information. We're living in a time of information overload. And this information overload has really overstimulated the human mind. It has us grasping for any level of sense of self, understanding, perspective, even reality as a whole. I feel like the times that I grew up in, I was very fortunate to grow up in the 70s and the 80s. Um, myself being a class of 1989 from high school. So by the time the 90s hit, I was already out of school. So all of my childhood years were in the 70s and 80s. And I'll tell you, I have now that perspective because when I was a young child, we only had four channels on TV. TV went off at midnight. You would only get white snow on the screen. It didn't come back on until around 7 a.m. in the morning. There was no all-day Cartoon Network. There was no all-day children's shows and YouTube and scrolling. And it just didn't exist. Matter of fact, you were happy if you can even tune into a channel. For the most part of my younger years, I had black and white TVs, and they were only 13 inches. So you really didn't focus on them too much because you could even barely see what was on the screen. I remember watching the 1984 US Olympics. And I was watching those on a 13-inch black and white screen TV. At the time, we had already moved from Opelika to Liberty City. And I was staying right off of Biscayne Boulevard and watching Mary Lou Retton win the gold medal. I'll never forget that because I had a crush on Mary Lou Retton. And Ronaldo, Niemeyer, all these incredible athletes back then. But again, if you missed it, you missed it. There wasn't any, well, I'll get home and I'll just turn on the tube and I'll watch what I missed. Didn't exist. Hold on a second. Back then, we literally lived by the television guide. If you didn't have a television guide, you would go to the store and read it instead of buying it, memorize the shows coming on for the week, and then make sure if there was something that you really wanted to see, you had to be home to watch it. And if you weren't home because of something going on, you just missed it. Now you can't miss anything. You can see everything. Even when you miss it, you can still see it. And I think that this has created a little bit of a situation for us as humanity, something that we really didn't anticipate. We're being forced to evolve at the hypothalamus, the neocortex, the colostrum. We're being forced. Our minds are being forced to evolve at a much more rapid pace, and for some of us, we just can't keep up. That we're living in intense times. There's a lot of conflict, uncertainty, nonstop information is everywhere. And so the key right now is not knowing everything. It's really about staying regulated. It's about staying clear and aligned and being calm while the world is loud. Finding your peace in the time of chaos, right? And that's bringing order back to entropy. Now, the situation's going on, obviously, and I've been very outspoken about the whole ICE thing in Gaza, and I had gotten to a point where I was talking to my business partner just the other day that I had to slightly pull back a little bit So many people are reporting on it. The information is on every single slide, every scroll, every swipe. It's everywhere, right? And I can only imagine if I actually watch TV. I don't even have cable TV in my house. So I can only imagine if I had cable TV and turned that on, it's probably on every single channel. So I told him I had to pull back a little bit. There's so many people reporting on it. I feel like I can just take a little bit of a step back and just get back into balance, peace, unity, positivity. And the reason why is because I found myself getting extremely angry. And I don't like being angry. It takes a lot to get me angry. I don't get angry very often. I'm not a person that gets angry. Can I get angry? Yes. Have I been angry before? Yes. But if you were to maybe add up the amount of times I've been really angry and pissed off over my 54 years on this planet, you could probably count them on your fingers. And my kids are a testament to that. You had my son I was on my son's podcast, Justin, just a couple of months ago, and he confirmed that I don't yell, I don't curse, I don't scream, I don't beat the kids, I never touched or yelled at them, nothing. It's just not in my personality trait. And when I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm getting really pissed off on the inside, like I want to do something to somebody, that's when I have to now readjust myself. That's when I have to now go back to the drawing board on myself. And I got to do an internal audit on myself and find out what it is inside of me that's out of balance, out of sync. And what I found was that my brain heart coherence was out of sync, unaligned. And it was getting to the point where I was getting extremely pissed off, where I felt like I wanted to do something to somebody. And when it gets to that point, that's where we have to check ourselves. That's where we have to reel ourselves back in. Because if we don't reel ourselves back in, we'll end up doing dumb things. See, once you get into that heightened state of anger, that's a high state to get into. It's a low vibration, but it's a high state to get into. So it's a weird thing because you're high into this activity, but your vibration is very, very low. But in that heightened state, and why I say heightened, because the body is on high alert. The mind has sent all the blood from the frontal lobe to the back of the brain. You're in fight or flight, you're in freeze, you're ready to make decisions that you can't make decisions on. You're thinking about doing this and doing that, but you're doing it from what part of the brain? The brain that has no blood. So that means that your thinking capability, your reasoning, your logic, gone. This is why when people get really angry, they do things like unalive people, right? Start street fights and scream and yell at people and curse people out, or do things that are totally out of their normal everyday personality traits. Because once they get to that certain point, they lose it. Why do they lose it? Because there's no control in the frontal lobe. The brain and all that, the blood flow to that part of the brain is gone. And so logic goes out the window. So I found myself having to take some deep breaths, take some extra walks in the backyard where I have a nice little nature preserve back there and a nice lake, and get some peace. And I just said I'm gonna rearrange, a little bit of what I'm doing. I'm gonna still emphasize that it's an issue that needs to be addressed and faced. But right now, with so many people on that vibration, some of us need to also bring back some balance as well, right? And this is just a metaphor for your life, because being informed matters, but overconsumption destroys the nervous system. Selective awareness keeps you grounded without disconnecting. So if I'm having selected awareness, in other words, I understand and know what's going on, but at the same time, I can stay within my zone. I can maintain my dominant high vibrational vibe, my high vibrational frequency. I can stay in the brain heart coherence vibe where I understand, I see it over there, but I'm not going to overconsume it, because I know that overconsuming it is going to make me do some crazy things. And I don't want to do crazy things, right? And this is where we have to check ourselves. This is where we have to take an audit of our conscious thoughts and take an audit in the body, scan the body, and find out where this anger, where this pain and frustration is, and address it. Speak to it. because your nervous system determines your frequency. And when it's regulated, you make much better decisions. You can think long term, you can stay emotionally steady, right? You can maintain a steady, even keel vibration. You're going to go up and down, but you're not going to be like this, right? You can be like this. It's all about understanding how to control that darkness that's in you. And we all have the darkness in us. And we know that because we see it unfolding right before our very eyes. I mean, for goodness sakes, they're unaliving their own kind in the streets, which I've never seen anything like that before. I didn't know I'd ever live to see a day like this in America where this is happening. It's just the most bizarre thing. And it's really shocking, right? It's really, it's really shocking. I've seen it the other way around, but I've never seen this type of attack. It's just bizarre. And it just makes you wonder what's happening to the people that are immigrants if it's happening that way for them, for themselves. So it's gut wrenching. It's disheartening. It's sad. The best thing we can do is try to become the higher vibration, still work on focusing on collaboration and connecting with our brothers and sisters, because until we stop falling for the divide and conquer tactics, we're always going to be waiting for the next thing to blow up, waiting for the next time to jump into a civil war. We have to find a way to collaborate, coordinate, and organize. I hate to say this, but marching through the streets doesn't really change a lot of things, not in this day and age. It's actually falling into their plans. They want to create a civil war environment so that they can manipulate the public and do certain things based on that environment. That's the energy they're like archons creating this overarching energy. And we've got to do a better job of recognizing when it's a setup. And right now, it's an absolute setup, and hardly anyone is aware of it. It's a trap. It's just like when you're driving down the road, and you're getting comfortable. There's not that many cars out there. You're like, oh, well, it's a 55, but I'm going to do 65. Or it's a 45, I'm going to do 65. And then there's a cop sitting down at the part of the road where the speed drops from 55 down to 45 again. So you speed up and you're slowing down. He's at the speed trap is what they call it, the speed trap. And he's waiting for you to hit that speed trap. He's got the radar gun. He trapped you. This is what's going on. It's a big setup, and not everyone, but a lot of people are falling for the trick. They don't realize what's really going on. The amount of activity could have been significantly reduced with a little bit of forward and advanced thinking, a little bit of recognition as to what the setup actually is. And a certain level of organization could have been done, just like it was organized to go outside. Well, somebody's communicating with somebody. You could have organized a shutdown of the entire state without ever having to even leave the house. Stayed nice and toasty in the house, nice and warm and relaxed, without ever even having to go outside. But that takes organization, and it takes blood here in the frontal lobe so that you can make logical decisions like that. Once the blood leaves, it's helter-skelter, run the streets. I'm going to put on Disney costumes and run in the streets and all that kind of stuff. It's very bizarre. But knowing that it's going to create a situation that will fall into a situation where these people are looking for any excuse to do harm, because that's what they're there for. But again, it's all about understanding and seeing what's really going on. It's all about understanding the traps that are out here. And there's so many traps. This whole thing is just one trap, but there's so many traps that have laid out for us. They just have them. They know that we're scrolling. They know that people are constantly scrolling. They know that we're all getting these alerts, and the crisis updates keep the body in low-grade stress. I mean, it's getting so crazy. I spent the last hour on my social media feed, the one that I personally have to use the most. I went to my popular page, And I literally just started clicking all positive things. And when I didn't see anything, I started searching for positive things. I started searching for motivational quotes, inspirational quotes, um, self-help information, health, fitness. I just started going to them and just liking, finding those, searching, liking. I spent 1 hour rearranging my algorithm to reduce the amount of trauma and stress that I'm putting into my body from the other stuff. Right? Taking some pausing time, breathing slowly, getting back my nervous system into regulation, very important. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself out of control. And I'll tell you what will happen when you get out of control like that. You think that you're only going to be out of control against what the oligarchs are doing, what they're up to. But that stimulus that's coming into the body is going to make you a walking trigger. Now you're going to snap at your kids. Now you're going to snap at your wife or your husband. Now you're going to snap at other friends and family members. Now you're looking for any excuse to snap on anybody. And if you can't snap on anybody, then you're going to become extremely overstimulated, and you're going to feel so overstimulated, you're just going to start breaking down and start crying because you can't unleash this vibration anywhere. So now you're just going to break down and start bawling because there's no other way to get it out. So now the body's going to default into tears, right? And shakes. You're just going to start snot crying. And that's just more stress on the body. Now your sinuses are all clogged and blocked up. You can't breathe. You got a sinus headache. You're making yourself even more sick. And still, no solution has arisen. There's been no solution, by the way, through all this tearing down of your body. No solution has arisen from any of this. Nothing has come to change the situation. You see? So we're punishing ourselves, we're torturing ourselves, we're hurting ourselves, and we're making our body sick. We're creating dis-ease in the body. And like I say, dis-ease will become disease, and disease will have you pushing up daisies. You'll be 6 feet under. And so that's why we have to, this is really important now. I'm trying to tell you. I caught myself today. I was about to get out of control. I've been going everywhere with my guns. You know, I normally walk with a gun, but I'm walking around with 2 guns, and, you know, I got guns laid out all over the house in case I got to grab them. Ain't nobody coming in here to get me in this particular, and if they're coming, listen, they'd be crazy to come over here. But I got guns hidden all over the house. I'm waiting for somebody to come. I'm like anticipating somebody's coming to my house. I'm manifesting it now. Now I'm getting to where I'm manifesting foolishness and trauma. I had to catch myself. I said, man, let me sit my ass down. I'm doing too much. Let me put these guns up. I'm doing too much. Sometimes we just got to be real with ourselves and realize we're just doing too much. You know? And it's not that we don't want to support these people, because we do want to support the people that have been victims. And every single race so far has been a victim. And I'm talking about Caucasian are the latest victims. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. I didn't see like 5 Caucasians get unalived. I'm kind of stunned. I've never thought I'd live to see a day like this. I'm kind of confused, really. I'm confused because I don't really understand it. I'm used to seeing it the other way around. You know, I watched my dad get beat down by police in the 70s right in front of me with a mistaken identity, supposedly mistaken identity. You know, I've seen my dad, unfortunately, was beaten by cops in 2017. And then that gave him a double concussion and broke his back. Eventually, he ended up dying. So my dad's a victim of police brutality, died from that. He ended up having a cascade seizure, which was 120 seizures within like a couple of hours. It erased his brain completely. And the unfortunate thing is I'm the oldest. And just like I had to make the decision on my mom, I had to make the decision to pull the plug on my dad. You know, and they died basically in the same exact hospital, in the same ICU. And the bed that my mom died in was right next to the bed that my dad died in. You know, so it's wild. That's the version that I'm used to seeing. But this new version they got going on, it's got me kind of really confused because I'm used to seeing it the other way. So I'm kind of like, wow, this is even more shocking. The other way you kind of almost expect it. I mean, as a black man, I kind of just expect it, just live with it. Yeah, I've been pulled over by the cops and forced to take my pants down on State Road 7, which is a major street down here in broad daylight, and let this cop look up under my nutsack to see if I'm hiding dope. This is when I was a young teen driving. I was driving cars since I was 16. I think at the time I was 17, and I mean, I've had just the craziest scenarios, happen. But like I say, for me, I grew up expecting that. But what I'm seeing now, I just never expected. And I think it's really putting everyone on high alert because when you see something like that, it's so shocking because it doesn't add up to the normal status quo that the system already has. This is something totally opposite. So it's getting everyone on high alert. That's why the streets are so full in these areas. Like everybody's outside. But what I'm saying is we have to be a little bit smarter. We got to recognize the traps. We have to see the setup, the speed traps, the setups. We have to see how they're trying to lure us into a civil war situation. And why do they want to lure a civil war? Well, if they lure you into a civil war, then the current people in office can stay there, extended. They can extend their stay. It's like a hotel, the extended stay. They can avoid impeachment. They can avoid having to reverse all these executive orders sooner. And they can continue to enrich themselves as they're doing right now. They're making hundreds of billions of dollars. And I mean hundreds, I'm not even exaggerating. They're making hundreds of billions of dollars in a very short period of time because a lot of what they're doing, they're playing the markets. You send out a warship or you send out some drones, that you can do a stock option call on specific stocks. If you're looking for intelligence and you're declaring that you're going to attack the country, even if you're not really going to attack them, that you can get some Palantir stock options. And the next day that Palantir stock options are going to go up significantly. So you might buy $200,000-$300,000 worth of contracts on Palantir, and you might make $1 million that day. And then when it fades off and the stock drops again, you already know when it's going to drop. So you could put some puts on the stock options. And when it drops, you make money on the fall too. You can raise the economy, and which gets exciting, and the stock market will go up. The S&P 500 will rise. And then you can make a crazy, outlandish statement about a country or a potential attack, knowing in good and well, in some cases, you might not even be thinking about it, but that will force the S&P down, and then you can make money when it goes down. So it's about really playing the markets. They're playing the crypto market, they're playing the stock market, and they're luring the people into these into this civil war type of a frequency and vibe. And because they know that we are overstimulated, they know that we are scrolling, we're doom scrolling. And we know that once we get on the algorithm of some of this treachery that's going on, that it's going to come to us nonstop. They actually want us to see the treachery. They want us to see the panic. They want us to see the pain and the agony. They want us to see the torture because they understand the psychology of the human mind and what that is going to do to us. And it does exactly what they want it to do to us so they can manipulate the situation even further. Like P. Lopez say, they're playing chess, not checkers. They're playing chess, not checkers. They understand the game. It's us who don't understand the game. And we keep calling them dumb and stupid. But at the end of the day, they're the ones controlling and running everything. So they're not really that dumb and stupid, are they? They're masters at manipulation. They're masters at word salad. And this is what we have to understand. All right? So we have to get back into a high frequency, because high frequency living doesn't mean that you're ignoring what's happening. It just means that you are responding from calm instead of reacting from fear. See, I can respond. I'm very calm right now, and I can explain this to you, and I can speak on this extremely well, and I can break down all the particulars about what's going on, what's happening, and what it's doing to us, and what our part is in it. And I can even talk about the treachery that's going on. But at the same time, you see, I'm just calm. My hands aren't shaking. My palms aren't sweaty, right? My underarms aren't sweaty. I don't have sweat rings. I'm not angry. I'm not looking for my gun. I'm relaxed because I moved into the vibration of peace and calm. I moved back into my high vibrational frequency. I have too many amazing things going on right now to allow myself to drop my frequency and fall into that trap. See, the secret to becoming a true ascended master, a person that continues to grow consciously and spiritually, is a person that can catch themselves when they begin to slip and stop it and correct it on the fly. Like I said, you're not going to be a flat line. You're going to be like this. And that's okay, because every time you go up and then you go down, you catch yourself, you bring yourself back up again, right? But you can't be like this. That's what you got to get away from, these crazy swings of heights and lows in vibration. That can't happen, because when that happens, everything around you is going to be inconsistent. Everything around you is going to be operating from a scarcity, a lack of abundance mindset. It's going to be a low vibration. You're going to have so many problems for every solution. You won't be able to get out of situations fast enough. And everything around you, your kids, your children, your grandchildren, everyone's going to feel that vibe, and then they're going to be reacting on that same vibration and frequency. Everyone's going to start acting out. Relationships are going to collapse. It's what's going on inside of us that's going to manifest on the outside. So we have to understand that we need discernment, because discernment is a superpower. It's a superpower right now. And not everything deserves your attention, energy, or emotional investment. Be aware of it, monitor it. Don't get overstimulated by it. Maintain your vibration, maintain who you are, and also maintain the solutions provider mindset. So I shifted to the frequency of solutions providing. I'm not sure exactly what the solution is yet, but because I'm vibrating and thinking about what could be the solution to some of these issues and problems, something will download to me eventually, and I'll be a part of that, either someone else program or something that I developed myself. But at some point, at some moment in space and time, I will rendezvous with a potential solution or solutions that I can be a part of. So I've switched back my thinking to a totally different way. I'm understanding and perceiving this a totally different way. It's a horrible situation, and my heart goes out to everyone that's been a victim of all of this, because a lot of people didn't deserve what's happening to them. There's a lot of Americans in those camps right now that haven't bathed in 10 days. They have been eating, well, the food they've been given has rocks and urine in it, so they can't eat. And some of them have been deported to countries, and they're actually American citizens. They even took some people and dropped them off in Africa, but they were from South America. They did it just for fun. So there's a lot going on also behind the scenes that we're just not aware of, a lot of treachery that's going on behind the scenes. But if I overstimulate myself and continue to do that, then everything around me will begin to drop to that vibration, and everything around me will collapse. And that's what they want. They want everybody to basically lose everything. So everything that they're working on, everything they're passionate about, to just literally dissolve. We can't let that happen. We just can't, okay? We cannot let it happen. So we need to meditate. We need to pray. We need to vibrate higher. And we need to do great things for our brothers and sisters, no matter what race, color, creed, religion. When you see somebody on the street, greet them with an enthusiastic hello. Smile at them. Everyone, we need smiles right now. I've been smiling and greeting people all day long when I was out. I'm just smiling and greeting. Earlier today, I was out and I was inside of a restaurant, and this lady walks in and she goes, "Are you Billy Carson?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm Billy Carson." She goes, "I want to tell you, your driver, he's amazing. He just helped me, and I didn't even, he wouldn't even take money. He wouldn't take a free lunch." I said, "Oh, he's just a great human being. He's not gonna do that, ma'am." So I went outside and I said, "Hey, man, what happened?" He's like, "She was struggling to walk." So I ran over. I got out of the car and ran over and I helped her walk into the building because she was struggling. Older lady. She was struggling to walk. She couldn't get her leg up on the curb. That's the kind of stuff we need going on right now. We need to just be there for one another. We need to show people that there is love out there, that there is kindness out there. Yes, there are a lot of people that have been now, for the first time, we're seeing them exposed as racist. There have been a lot of hidden racists around us that have just been pretending, but now they've got given themselves the green light to come out of the racist closet. And so now we're aware of them. Don't let them reel you in and trap you. Don't let them trick you into getting a felony. Don't let them trick you into going to jail and leaving your kids at home. Now your kids going into the foster care system because you got hoodwinked because they reeled you in, they got you angry, and they made you act out, and they knew exactly what they were doing. They'll take the little punch in the face and the little push just so you can lose everything: your job, your house, your car, your children. Everything you worked so hard for will be gone in less than 1 second. They know this. We can't fall for the traps. We got to be smarter. It's 2026. It's 2026. It's time to use our intelligence. Okay. We got to be much smarter. They know exactly what they're doing. They know it, they understand it, and they're setting us up moment by moment, just hoping and praying for our downfall. That's what they're looking for. They're praying for the downfall. Don't allow them to win. That's my message to you. Do not allow them to win. You know, you got to remember that real connection stabilizes energy. So checking in on people, having real conversations, staying present matters more than ever right now. I've been contacting and checking on people that, they might not have heard from me for a little while, and I might not have heard from them, but they never really, these are positive people. I know that when I talk to them, they're not going to give me a bunch of negativity. Hey, I just want to check in on you, man. Just tell you, hey, I appreciate you. I love you. Just hoping everything is going well for you. It's just something as simple as that. We just got to find a way to keep the vibration up by any means necessary, because there's so much negativity going on around us. And I just want people to see that it's not everyone. I'm not participating in the foolishness, right? That's the important thing. Because, prosperity in uncertain times, it's only going to come from your clarity. And so if you want to keep everything, if you want to keep moving forward, if you want to prosper, this has to be clear. You have to have regulation, aligned actions, and not panic with impulsive moves every time you turn around. Because when you protect your attention, you actually protect your energy. And your attention is powerful because the energy goes where the attention flows. So if your attention is here, swipe, 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 swipe. That's where all the energy is going. It's going into this system, this digital system, this digital virtual world. And once your energy gets in there, it then connects to the algorithm. And the algorithm in these devices is only a mirror of the universe's algorithm. It works the same way. They didn't invent an algorithm for social media. They only recreated as above, so below, as within, so without. And they put it into this device. And so this device works on the law of attraction. That's what it works on. See, the law of attraction works in high vibration and low vibration. You can attract a whole bunch of craziness and drama, or you can attract high vibrational things and peace and unity and tranquility and abundance. It's up to the frequency that you're putting out. So the universe mirrors you. So when you're on here, if you begin to swipe into low vibrational things too much, this algorithm is going to mirror you and send you back the vibration that you're on. That's why I always tell people, if you want to find out what vibration you're on, go to your popular page on one of your social media apps, and you'll know instantly what you're on. And you can be like, oh, wow, this is the vibration I'm at right now. And then you need to actively change that. Like I did today. I went actively looking for positivity, actively looking for self-improvement. And now when I go on my algorithm, it's completely changed out. Very few trauma pieces in my algorithm right now. And so that way, I'm protecting my energy. I'm protecting my attention. And when you protect your energy, you protect everything, your health, your finances, your direction, all right, your ability to grow, move through this matrix. Now, the goal isn't to escape the world. The goal really is to move through it centered and focused and with intention. And so that's the message that I wanted to share today, because I really want people to understand that, man, we're on a precipice right now. I told everyone in my last few podcasts that we're leaving the fourth age and heading into the fifth. 4 worlds have come to an end, and this is the end stage of the fourth world. And the Hopi prophecy says that not everyone's going to make it into the fifth, and that when we head into the fifth, we're going to become victims of our own choices. We're going to be held accountable for our own choices. So we can move into the fifth world in a way that allows us to prosper and grow into abundance, or to shrivel up and just fade away. This is a very old prophecy, and it's so true. It's so vibrant. It's so real. It talks about us running into this fork in the road, which is where we are right now. And it talks about at the end of the fourth, basically what it says in summary is these people are going to go out kicking and screaming and fussing and fighting. And that's exactly what we're looking at right now. The Hopi, man, I'm telling you, they wow, wise. I mean, the knowledge that's hidden in that tribe is mind-blowing. These prophecies are mind-blowing. Like I told you, I remember the Hopi prophecy about the World Wide Web that I read back in 1992, and in 97, it actually happened. I was blown away. The prophecy said that the world will be covered in an invisible web, and information will travel to and fro instantaneously. And that's exactly what we have. It said that, it even went more descriptive. It said part of this web will be physical and some of the web will be invisible. That's exactly what we have. We have the Wi-Fi connected to these routers and all these devices, but we also have the cloud. We have Starlink broadcasting now on these invisible frequencies. They're spot on. But one thing that caught me, that we will be held accountable for our choices moving into this fifth world. And I think that's really a metaphor for us to pay attention and see where we need to be, because the principle of cause and effect is what they're talking about. What they're talking about is every conscious decision that you think about and act on is going to have a consequence. And that consequence could be a good consequence or a bad consequence, but it will be a consequence. So this is what it means with our choices, because if we act on those choices, there's going to be an outcome. And so they're synchronizing directly with the ancient Kemetic principles, which much later became the Hermetic principles. So much that I could talk about for so long. It's just, we really just, everyone on here should just dedicate some time for peace, for meditation, switch up your algorithm, get back on high vibration, get on positivity, observe, watch, and see. Don't get over attached to it. You know, if you have a prayer method, pray for the people that are being traumatized and the children that are being traumatized. If you have a meditation method and a prayer method combined, even better. If you have any rituals that you do that you feel help with situations, whatever it is. But let's just get back to our dominant vibration, our dominant frequency. And it's not that we're turning our back on what's happening, is that we're dealing with it in a different way, right? We're facing it, we're processing it, but we're not getting so attached to it that it's going to make us psychopathic, crazy people. And then the next thing you know, you turn around and everyone around you is pissed off. Everyone around you is angry. You're snapping on people you shouldn't be snapping on. You're saying things you shouldn't say. You're talking crazy in front of your own kids. They're picking up on that vibration and they're copying you. It's a domino effect. It's an absolute domino effect, right? I'm just as guilty. I'm not acting like I'm not. I'm talking to you about this because I'm guilty of it. And so when I recognize those things happening and welling up inside of me, I got to address them because I know I'm not the only one, right? And so that's what it's all about. So I wanted to share that message with y'all tonight, and a couple of public service announcements I wanted to share with you. I am going back to Egypt twice this year, in June and also in July. I would love to see y'all out there in Egypt. It's an amazing tour. Check this out. I'm down underneath several stories underneath the pyramid in Saqqara. Going through this labyrinth down there. I actually got lost down there that time. Then a guide found me, and then me and the guide got lost. So it's kind of crazy. I was stuck down there for an extra hour.
Do you want to hike underneath pyramids like this with Billy Carson and Elizabeth Carson?
So yeah, tour that was back in 23. So definitely got to get you on the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. If you're interested in going on that tour, I'll drop a link real quick. It's a great tour. We have a great time. And I'm really looking forward to this year because we're going to have a party, a red carpet party, right in front of the Great Sphinx. It's going to be a great party, red carpet, dressed up, nice. We're going to have a lot of fun. I just dropped a link in the live chat. Okay. But now, I do want to address something coming up. So, tonight I'm talking about maintaining that high frequency, that high vibration. And really, it comes down to really finding your tribe. And if you want to stay in a high frequency, if you want to stay surrounded by like-minded people and learn how to prosper in times of uncertainty like we're in right now, this week we're starting the 4BK Wealth Essential Blueprint. And it's a premium mentorship program ran by myself and a super successful group of people that are in my personal private network. And we put you inside of a focused container for clarity, for discipline, for alignment, for wealth building. And it's really a tribe. It's a community of people that are choosing to grow together and get rid of fear, overcoming fears. And we put together practical guidance to elevate your mindset, structure, and even execution so that you can grow, so that you can develop, so that you can become better, not only spiritually, consciously, but also abundantly. So if this resonates with you, I do have a short video on this link that I'm dropping in the live chat. Just watch the short video that I recorded for you and speak with my team, and then you can apply to see if you qualify. So this might be exactly what you need to take things to the next level. So that link is being dropped in the live chat. Make sure you click on that link and check it out. I have a very short video there. Watch the video and see if this is something that you think is for you. You can join the tribe, all right? So I'm getting ready to go live now in the academy, but fill out that form and I'll see you in about 15 minutes in the Forbidden Knowledge Academy, all right? I'll catch you later. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate all of y'all. And thanks to everyone as well that watched on Instagram. I appreciate y'all too. And I'll see you again